discussing the Exemplary Course Awards. For the first time, we had a rubric, and everyone submitted their courses, along with narratives describing them. And we went through all of the courses, and there was a lot of competition, and we chose 3 first, second, and third place, and plus 1 honorable mention. So for first place, we'd like to congratulate Professor Sherry Beckman. For second place, Professor Kenneth Weishart. Third place was Stacy Cooper. And then as we were going through, we only intended to have 3 actually, but as we were going through the courses, we discovered one was a face-to-face course that had such an incredible Blackboard component that we just wanted to make sure it was acknowledged. And so that was Professor Victoria Munoz. So later this afternoon, we'll be giving awards to everyone. But for this session, we wanted to give everyone the opportunity to see these courses. So let's start with Professor Beckman.
Okay, great. So I should just play my video? Okay, great. All right, so, and let's see if the captioning works. Hi, everyone. Hi. Alrighty. So let's see, here we go. Let's see if the captioning works. Hello, I'm Professor Sherry Deckman from Lehman College. Let's see if the captions work. Okay, great. And if anybody would like a printout of the script, I can hand that to you. I'll just pass those around. I only need 10 copies. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the video overview of my fully online course, ESC 502, The Historical Foundations of Education. This course is required for most of our teacher candidates in middle and high school education and explores issues of diversity and equity in the U.S. education system. Here we are on the course landing page, which displays announcements, including this welcome I send out and post at the beginning of the semester. From here, in this brief virtual tour of the course site, I highlight several features that align with the Blackboard Exemplary Course program principles in the areas of course design, assessment, interaction and collaboration, and learner support. Let's take a look. First, in terms of course design, within each weekly module, we're looking at Module 1, learning objectives are clearly delineated. These objectives align with the course goals stated on the syllabus available here, and also on the key course assignments, which, while they are embedded within the modules as they come up, are also organized here for students' quick and easy access. On the topic of assignments, let's look at assessments. Rubrics are provided for all summative assessments, and some require student self-evaluation. Those rubrics and guidelines are all clearly organized here. You can see this with the final Philosophy of Education assignment that I've already opened here, which is created not only to focus on similar to real-world application of skills, but to be an artifact students can use in their current and future work in designing a presentation for one of several possible audiences, which we can also see by viewing the specific directions posted in Module 3. This assignment segues into the area of interaction and collaboration. Collaboration is a particular strength of the course, as students have many opportunities to communicate with each other and me, and to initiate that communication to collaborate. For instance, with the Philosophy of Education assignment, students view each other's presentations, which they create using the VoiceThread tool in Blackboard, and provide questions and comments to one another, which we can see by clicking on Module 14 for the directions there. And before this end of semester activity, groups of students co-design and co-facilitate module segments for the class during modules 9 through 13, also using VoiceThread. So if we click on Module 13 again and we scroll down here, we can see a couple of examples of topics. Here are examples that focus on inclusion in education, with the students guiding questions and readings posted, and one on women in STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, with the students guiding questions and reading materials posted as well. So here you can get a cursory assignment of how the assignment is scaffolded by looking at the directions provided in Module 7 here. And so you can see that the students are guided in determining their session objectives, we're having a buffering issue or something. Well, I can tell you about it and answer questions. Okay. Why don't I just pause it, since we're going to be a little bit short on time, I think. And I have the Blackboard site open, if the internet is working, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or share any features that people are curious about. And so what I was highlighting when the YouTube video stopped working was the student interaction. Okay, but I don't think that's working. I think that I just need to make it stop. Okay, alrighty. So I was highlighting student collaboration and interaction. And so what I was explaining there is that students facilitate half of, or a quarter at least, of the semester, creating their own VoiceThread sessions. And then I talk about how that idea of collaboration and interaction begins at the very beginning of the course through content-based, get-to-know-you kinds of activities, beginning with students first presenting a Where I'm From poem, talking about who they are and how they came to the course, which, given that the course focuses on the social context of education, also ties in with the content that we're going to be studying. And so I also talk in the video about how they begin to use VoiceThread there. They begin to learn how to comment on one another's voice threads and how this builds the collaboration and interaction. And the last piece that the video touches upon is about accessibility, and that in cases where the materials are not accessible, for instance, a PDF might not work with a screen reader, that the students have other options such as videos that are posted. And the very last slide says thank you to Elena and Lisa and Susan Coe and Stephen Castellano, who are not here, as well as my department, for supporting the course and for ongoing professional development. So I think I have 30 seconds left, which leaves very little time for questions. But if anybody would like to ask any questions at lunch or what have you, I'd be happy to address those. And I'll just log out of my Blackboard site then as well. Thank you. Yep, absolutely. So I don't know how we can disseminate that. Do you, Elena? Okay, great. And I guess I can't log out of Blackboard, so I trust nobody's going to change all my grades in Q first.
Okay, we're going to introduce our second place winner, Professor Kenneth Weisner from the Philosophy Department. He also has a video and will be taking questions at the end of his presentation.
Yeah, maybe I'll just stand here and maybe Dante, you run the video. I say I'm honored to be here and a little bit surprised. So.
I'm Ken Weisser. I started teaching business ethics last fall, and I really needed help from the online education department. I'd especially like to thank Nelisa. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick tour of my course. My goal was a course that's easy to use, that involved the students in different ways, and that showed my interest in their learning. So here's the quick tour. As you can see, the course is organized around weekly modules. This makes it easy to find the assignments and the readings. The Start Here module includes my contact information, the purpose and structure of the course, my introductory video, a discussion board where students introduce themselves, and finally, a longer video that shows how to navigate the course on Blackboard. Now let's take a look at a typical module. Each module focuses on a specific topic, like key ethical theories, the role of the corporations, and issues in the workplace. After reading the text, students watch a lecture where I highlight the key points and often include additional information. They then participate in discussion boards, which are based on case problems from the real world. Students post their solutions and comment on others. I also monitor the boards and post comments. After last semester, I realized that students need more practice in their writing. So in some weeks, I substitute a written assignment for one of the discussion boards. This allows me to provide more detailed feedback on the quality of their arguments and their writing. I use self-quizzes to help students assess their learning. These are useful preparation for the exams, which are a key part of my student evaluation. Finally, after reviewing students' work, I often found that there were key points that just weren't getting across the way that I hoped. So I started doing another video where I talked about these points and then sent it out after the week is over. One flaw is that I found not everyone watches these wrap-ups, but I've heard from a number who do, and they say they're very helpful. As to my third goal, showing students that I'm interested, my initial effort to have online office hours was a non-starter. I quickly found that students' lives are hectic and varied. So I've focused more on emails, and I answer emails every day. I also regularly find out which students are falling behind, and then I try to contact them to see what's happening. So in summary, I've tried to develop a course that's easy to use, that engages students in different ways, and that shows I'm interested in their learning. I think that my course does that, but I'm still looking for more ways to communicate better with students. Thank you.
So next up we have Professor Stacy Cooper from Hostos Community College.
All right, so the video gives you a short overview of what the course looks like. But before I begin, I just want to say thank you to the EdTech team at Hostos because, Eric and Sarah Hoyland, who's my mentor, and David DeSantos, who's not here. I didn't see him. Okay, but these people are, invaluable. So they helped support me through the process of creating this course. And it's the thing about this course, what's really interesting, it's not only hybrid, it's also writing intensive. So we had to satisfy 2 masters in trying to get this course running. It's a kind of flipped classroom model, so I tried to keep a lot of stuff online. But part of it was making it accessible to students and also giving them the opportunity to become independent learners, which is not the easiest thing when you're working on writing intensive courses as well. So the majority of the in-class time was spent on trying to workshop writing and also brainstorming these writing activities that they have to do, because they have 3 papers to write as well to satisfy the writing intensive requirements. And so we do also a lot of in-class activities, so it's kind of balanced that way. So this video goes through some of the things that I really like about the course, and I hope you can hear it. I don't know. So I'd like to start talking about this class, which is Psych 120, Child Development course, by showing you the homepage for the course. The homepage for the course is where students would land first. And so on here, you have the graphics of child development, and then you have announcements, and you have the usual assignments and alerts. But some interesting things about this course that I really like about the course is, one, the layout of the course content. So the course content starts off with a welcome video for students from the beginning of the course. We also see here some major things about how the chapters are laid out. So each week we cover a chapter. So if we were to go into the chapter 1 or chapter 2, we would see that the layout has to do with first the learning goals, and then 2 folders, face-to-face and online content. And then you have the Google documents. So this course also utilizes surveys at points to assess student learning through review questions. And also the PowerPoint slides are there as well. I've also linked in this one here, the discussion board, so they can go directly to the discussion board from here. So students should be able to discriminate between what do I need to prepare for in class sessions, and what do I need to cover, prior to coming to class. And so because it's a hybrid writing intensive course, that students have to be very independent in their ability to complete the course material. The FAQ glossary, I think, is really important because students have these questions and they probably don't have answers. And so when I was about, well, what is it that students really know and don't know about a hybrid course? So I wanted to give them a definition. And then, of course, they may not even know what a writing intensive course is. They possibly know that they just need to take one. So giving them a short definition of what writing intensive means is important. And then we have our Hostos Are You Ready assessment linked here as well. And so here, if we look, we have a list of netiquette. Students may or may not know about, basic behavior online. And then we have netiquette for discussion boards as well, and how to maintain an online presence. And of course, handing in work on time. But what I really like here is the lost section, the lost and where to find what on Blackboard. For the independent student, the one that's really going to take initiative, this FAQ really provides them with a lot of information. So, for example, like how do I contact the professor? Where do I find, where do I get help with information from the library? Where can I find assignments that are due? Just general questions. So in order to be collaborative online, discussion boards became a useful way of actually creating an online presence for students. And so here we have instructions about how to create a discussion board, but we also have the important guidelines and criteria that they might need. What I like about this is that there's a kind of self-check for the student. There is also the breakdown of the criteria about, what is the discussion board and how do I actually get these points? Another thing that's useful here is that because this is a writing intensive course, I wanted to give the students extra credit, but I didn't want them to have to write extra stuff. So they have the option of actually creating short YouTube video submissions, add their link with their YouTube channels, and they can just discuss their paper, review their paper, and upload it anytime before the end of the semester to get these extra credit points. If we go back to course content, surveys were used for review questions for a chapter, but also we use surveys in getting to understand what are students' perceptions about taking the course. So I did a first day survey and in the middle of the semester course evaluation, and then I'm going to close out with a final evaluation at the end of the semester for the student. This gives invaluable feedback from the students about, what is it that they took from the course? What is it? How do they think the course can be improved? What are some elements that they really enjoyed about the course as a writing intensive and hybrid course? So these are some elements that I really think are pretty useful and maybe innovative about this course. All right. So just to conclude, I mean, it's really thinking about how to give them enough information at the same time not overwhelming them. And so when you open the folders, there's a lot of lectures, right, and short clips, but there's also room for reflection as well. And so my whole thing about writing intensives as well is, it can become very overwhelming, especially at the community college level. And so you have a lot of developmental writers. And so you have to find a lot of ways to get them to not feel so overwhelmed through the process. And so I think as a start class, first time teaching this class, it's a good way of actually, just bringing them into the fold of that writing isn't that hard and that you could do it both online and in class at the same time. And so you know, I really just try to kind of find some balance in a place that doesn't always have balance. You know, it's you know, when it comes to these two types of modules of teaching. And so that's it.